Hello, y'all. Yep, 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 yep. Um, oh no, it's happening again. So, I'm very excited for today's episode because I may or may not have somebody joining me in chat. But the only issue is I tried to figure out how to get an embed to make it so that my chat shows up in my recording, but I don't know if it works. Because I've never been able to test it because I've never had anybody in my chat. So if it doesn't work, that's just going to suck and you're going to miss out on the context if I'm responding or not. Anyways, the other thing that I'm excited for is that this is um, the start of intermission in a Homestuck. So we don't even have to read Homestuck in our Homestuck. We can read something else in our Homestuck. Because that's what Homestuck is. It's not Homestuck. It's also other things. I'm trying to think if I have a bird fact. Bird fact, boiling eggs in order to make hard-boiled eggs. Not my own eggs. I know I'm a bird, you guys. I'm not a chicken. These are chicken eggs. Uh, it's kind of hard, but it's like deceptively hard because it's really simple and really easy. But the strategy that I do is you put them in the water and then you put it up to a boil and then you turn it off immediately and take it off the heat and then just let it sit in there. And then when it cools down, theoretically it should be good. Rather than like timing it for 10 minutes and taking it out. And some people do the ice bath and everything. And actually, it's ironic that I'm saying this because I did the ice bath today. But I feel like it's not really necessary. I just did it because here's the second bird fact. Even no matter how many times I do a recipe, even if it's something as simple as boiling eggs, I just think I need to read the recipe again. And that's that on self confidence and trust. You know, I can't remember any of these recipes because I have to remember all the details of the plot of Homestuck. So, anyways, let's get into it. You got two for the price of one. Two bird facts today. I'm replaying this GIF a couple times because it's just cool, and I feel like this is kind of it's not like totally important, but it's a little bit important because it's like showing like the narrative frame. Like we zoom out to be like, oh, the curtains close on Homestuck, and now we're like flipping, the wheels of the narrative are turning into the next intermission. So here we go. Your name is Spade Slick. You are the leader of a notoriously vicious gang of mobsters called the Midnight Crew. A rival gang known as the Felt recently knocked over one of your favorite casinos. Your long quest of revenge has finally taken you through the front door of the mansion belonging to their loathsome boss, Lord English. You're going to want to remember that. Your subordinates, Clubs Deuce, Diamonds Droog, and Hearts boxcars, have been dispatched to various locations throughout the mansion to begin carrying out your mission. Your objective is to locate and crack English's secret vault and plunder its mysteries. That's the business end of it. The pleasure will be painting this ugly house red with the blood of those miserable green motherfuckers. Spade Slick and the Midnight Crew, if you will recall, when Dave and John read MSPA, Microsoft Paint Adventures, which is what the Homestuck website was originally called and what the previous comic before Homestuck, Problem Sleuth, was posted on, as well as some other projects of Andrew Hussy's. When in Homestuck, John and Dave read MSPA, the adventure was the Midnight Crew. So, we are reading the Midnight Crew. And you'll recall in that story, they were like preparing to go to the Felt and take out the Felt. So it wasn't just some bullshit gag, but it also kind of is a bullshit gag. So, SS. Inspect timekeeping devices. Stupid gang and their lousy obsession with clocks. The sooner all these idiots stop being alive, the better. You wonder where they are. It's awfully quiet in the mansion, sans all the dreadful ticking. They have a thing for clocks. Captcha carriage clock. You obviously have no idea what that means. If it's some smart-ass way of saying to pick it up, forget it. You are already carrying an item. It is in your trusty deck of cards. He doesn't have Captcha. He has a different inventory management system, you silly fool. He's got a deck of cards. Because he's Spade Slick and he's card-themed. Spade Slick, build a fort with clocks. You have no idea. You have an idea that is so much better. Clocks destroyed. 4 out of 1,000. Spade Slick loves destroying things. Spade Slick, check for traps under the billiards rug. What is under the rug is much worse than any trap you can imagine. It is a member of a species that you do not recognize, with a ghastly furred upper lip. So Spade Slick doesn't know what humans are. That's interesting. And also relevant. In a way that doesn't really matter. You cover up the unsightly individual back up, and try to forget that it ever existed. I love this guy, though. I don't know who this guy is, but I love him. He's funny. Hopefully he's not problematic in some way. I guess I should be more careful with declaring my love. Okay, Spade Slick, play 52 card pickup. You would need a deck of cards to play that infernal game. Unfortunately, all you have is your war chest, which you deploy on the floor. So his deck of cards actually just becomes a big war chest. This is continuing the trend from Problem Sleuth, where items would be kind of exist in like Schrodinger's cat style. It is two things at once. So it is both his deck of cards and also his war chest. And so they're like, oh, like use your deck of cards like a deck of cards. And he's like, my deck of cards is a war chest. What are you talking about? But when he picks up his war chest, then it becomes his deck of cards. That's just like classic Andrew Hussey of like doing this like Schrodinger's item. SS, open the war chest. SS, shuffle the contents of the war chest. Oh look, it's Harry Anderson. You rummage around. Is that Harry Anderson? I don't remember. You rummage around. It's no unusual assortment of belongings, and nothing any mobster worth his salt would be caught plotting and scheming without. Certainly nothing eyebrow-raising. A bunch of blades, some playing cards, and a variety of other miscellaneous stuff. Also your vendetta itinerary and your heist map. Scavenge war chest for fancy headwear. Oh, he's got another spare hat in his hat. If there are any elaborate headdresses in here, you'll eat your haberdasher. But of course, there is only a plain and serviceable backup hat, which naturally conceals 2 liquorish Scotty dogs. Which makes you think that maybe you are wearing your backup hat and this is your usual one? Hell if you know, they're the same damn hat. Love that respectable and serviceable hat. Hide inside your war chest. You cannot hide properly inside the chest because you cannot close it while you are inside. Instead, you momentarily pretend it is a really cool automobile that commands fear and respect of larcenous adversaries everywhere. Beep, beep, beep. All aboard the idiot wagon. SS, start up the Crosby top. Is that what this thing is? You've had it for some time and you don't quite remember how you got it. You never knew the identity of this pipe-smoking creature. Perhaps it could be the same species as the character you just saw under the rug, but you know that it is impossible because this one does not feature the same bizarre furred lip. They are probably differing species within the same genus. Spade Slick, go to mspaintadventures.com. Oh my god, look at this. This is great. Ooh, I just realized that the Bing Crosby top blinks. Which is different from the Bill Cosby top, which John did have. This is the Bing Crosby top. And so he goes to MS Paint Adventures and, of course, reads Homestuck. Isn't that great? You don't know why you were wasting time on this website. It is for little children who poop hard in their baby-ass diapers. Also, you don't understand what the hell is going on or who all these characters are. It's all a lot of nonsense. This is more negging from the author, thank you. SS, delete the time setting on the Crosby top. He just fucking stabs the screen. Clock's destroyed. 5 out of 1,000. SS, take the spade key. Okay. He takes the spade key and flips over. It's a basic rules of blackjack card. You take the rules card for blackjack, which is what the key was. You have possessed this item for as long as you can remember. You do not yet know its significance, though you can hustle up a mean game of blackjack when you need to. And he flips it over, and there's a barcode. And this barcode, if you'll remember, is extremely similar on the barcode that was on the Wayward Vagabond's carapace wrist. But it's obviously a different barcode, but it's pretty similar. SS, examine vendetta itinerary. These are the mugshots of everyone you are going to kill. You got a head start. You already offed crowbar, 7, matchsticks, 11, and quarters, 14, depleting them of some of their muscle. You've still got to watch out for the others and stay wary of their despicable time shenanigans. Itchy, 1, has given you the slip repeatedly. Doze, 2, you've captured and interrogated just as repeatedly, but to no avail. Trace, 3, has broken into your secret hideout more times than you can count, while Finn, 5, always seems to be a step ahead of you and scoops your heists. Clover, 4, has all the intel and is highly cooperative. You might need him to crack the vault. He'll be guarded. Best to avoid Die, 6, in any direct confrontations unless you want a temporal mess on your hands. But if you need any repairs, you could always get to Stitch, who's number 9, and persuade him, quote unquote. And you might need to if you can't kill Sawbuck, 10, with a clean shot. Eggs, 12, and Biscuits, 13, are morons, but they are dangerous morons. Cans, 15, is a tank, and your crew will probably need more ammunition than you packed to take him down. No one knows what Lord English looks like, but that'll be corrected tonight. You've got dibs on English. He's all yours. Wonder where the number 8 mugshot went. Because if you'll see, we got solids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then stripes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The 8 is missing, and they're the felt. It's a game of pool. I know I'm spelling this out a little bit early, and they go into it more later, but I just think it's clever. It's continuing the game theming, where obviously Spades Slick is all cards, Esperb and Skya was chess, and the felt is pool. It's right here. But you aren't going to kill Snowman. That is out of the question. Number 8. SS, examine heist map. On review, your schemes seem a bit convoluted, but you wouldn't have it any other way. Deuce and Droog split up to neutralize as many felt as they can find. Your heavy muscle and expert safecracker, Boxcars, is headed straight down to the vault. SS, use radio device to check on unscrupulous cohorts. Lots of dead green torsos. Smash more stupid clocks. This is their heist plan. Just fucking run around the mansion killing everybody. Use radio device to check on unscrupulous cohorts. You put the word out to your cronies for a status report. No response yet. You clean up all your junk and prepare to get this show on the road. You slip the spade key back into your deck of cards, then pocket the war chest. So, see, now the war chest is the deck. The war chest turns into a deck. When he picks up the deck, it turns back into the war chest in his items. And also the spade key, which was a card for the rules of blackjack, he just puts into the deck. It's the same, smooth as clockwork, and every bit is logical. This is the Schrodinger's. Every item is 2 items. SS, enter the hallway near the main entrance. Funny, you didn't hear any commotion or gunplay, but it looks like there's already been some action in here, or there will be. You can never take tense for granted with these goons. 13 out of 1,000 clocks destroyed, apparently. Looks like Club's Deuce is getting back to you. He says he's got Doze tied up for interrogation. You ask him what else is new. Capturing that guy is like shooting a paralyzed monkey in the face. SS, B Hearts Boxcars. You are now Club's Deuce. Sorry, not hearts boxcars. We're clubs deuce. Fuck you, reader. Clubs deuce, rough him up. He remains tight-lipped, so you deal him a senseless shin-drubbing with your crook of felony. Oh, the humanity. You can barely watch. Doze. He's probably still using his special ability to slow time down for himself. He can't feel a damn thing, and certainly isn't saying anything, apart from a very low noise which could be saying, ow, very, very slowly. CD, punch clocks in the face to establish chronology. Why would you do that? All of these clocks are lovely. You see no reason to harm them. 987 out of 1,000 clocks unharmed. CD. Swap hats with those. Oh wait, hold on, there's CD in the back. I guess Clubs Deuce likes likes clocks. Swap hats with those. You begin a feeble campaign of psychological warfare. Perhaps compromising his fashion motif is the way to get to him. Nope, looks like he's still in his weird state of stasis and doesn't care. Either that, or it's driving him nuts. Just very slowly. CD, dump the contents of your war chest all over him. War chest? What are you talking about? All you've got is this simple, unassuming deck of cards. Oh, and there's number one, who's all zipping around. CD, play some solitaire. Don't be stupid. To play solitaire, you'll need a deck of cards. I don't see a deck of cards, do you? All I see is your battle drobe. Siri? Come on. I'm in the middle of something here. Oh. Here's I got a reader in the chat. What's up? I was so curious how long the clock gag was going to last. Sad to see it go so soon, though the peaceful route is probably for the best. I suppose. But I think it's just Clubs Deuce that likes clocks. Anyways, CD, throw the hat down and stomp it mercilessly. Oh no, it's itchy. It looks like he's all wound up. He unties Doze and quickly swaps everyone's hats around. Oh, now we're gonna stomp on Spade Slick's hat? That's what it looks like. Doze proceeds to make a fleet-footed getaway. The chase is on! Spade Slick, stop being Hearts boxcars. Spade Slick, destroying a clock. Alright, you're the boss. Hearts boxcars, you ain't. Someone has replaced your plain and serviceable hat with a silly and undersized one. An outrage beyond compare. You're sure you know who the culprit was. You can still smell his overly caffeinated blood. 9,000 out of 806... Sorry, not... 986 out of 1,000 clocks shown mercy. He's destroying more clocks. Ah, gotcha. I think I missed out on that clock preference and underlying context. That's totally okay. You're just, we just started the intermission, so we're just getting established with Spade Slick. This is Spade Slick. He's the leader of the gang, and the other guy was one of his underlings. Spade Slick, lift leg and hold it a little ways in the air. Oops. Ooh, he's twitching. And he's pissed. I love it when they do the art like this. I feel like this art style's it's good. 4 out of 15 green torsos dead. Itchy. 4 down, 15 to go. Spade Slick, wear CD's hat on top of your current one. You're already wearing Deuce's hat, you fool. The one on the floor is Droog's hat. This is exactly why you always keep a backup hat on hand. This son of a bitch on the floor here has played his last game of musical hats. Soon these lugs will learn to show you some respect. You made this town what it is, after all. Wasn't nothing but a bunch of dust and rocks before you got here. He's so hard-boiled. SS, wear backup hat. He just puts the chest on it. You deploy your chest and swap this dinky little hat for one more suited to your tastes. Wait a minute. Thank God. Your precious Scotty dogs are still here. You don't know what you'd do without them. You don't even want to think about it. Uh-oh. Die makes his usual sort of entrance, the nonplussed, vaguely bewildered sort. SS, speed diamonds droog. You got it. Clubs deuce it is. Still no hearts, boxcars, or diamonds droog. You have opened your battle drobe in search of your backup hat. You also need some more rope to retie Doze, who is absolutely tearing through the mansion as we speak. If you don't hurry, he may clear the chair within the hour. But it's a big mess. You mostly just see a bunch of bombs and cards. Hmm? You're not sure what's what. You can never remember which card to pick up. You can't believe how shitty your memory is. Because all of his cards are his items, and his items are his cards. CD, grab the deuce of clubs. You pick up 2 licorice gummy bears. These need to be stored for safekeeping as soon as possible. Finding your backup hat has never been more urgent. Because of course the candy goes in the hat. Where else would you keep your licorice gummy bears? Clubs deuce, pick up all of the cards and throw them at Doze. You pick up a bunch of cards and fling them Dozeward. Didn't accomplish a whole lot other than put some of your private reading material on embarrassing public display. Black, inches, licorice, 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 as far as the eye can see. That is a little embarrassing. Pick a card, any card. You're a busy guy, so you just pick up any old thing and put it on your head. Since you are in a big hurry, you will assume that it is your backup hat. You stand nearby the 2 remaining cards on the floor, an off-suited king and jack. He put some C4 explosives on his head. Clubs deuce, pick up card and depicting stately blonde-haired fellow. You aren't going to stand around jack king off all... Stupid. You aren't going to stand around jack king off all day long, so you grab the jack of diamonds. Here's your backup hat. Problem solved, you guess. Forget you are CD. Believe you are hearts boxcars. You suddenly remember you are diamonds droog. Thanks for the perspective switch. Whoever took your hat is about to discover he's the unluckiest man on earth. He better hope you find him dead. What you're gonna do to him will be much less painful that way. Yeah, these people are all so terrible and evil, but they're gangsters. DD, wear backup hat. You don't have a backup hat. All you got is this deck of cards. Oh, wait, yes you do. It's stashed away in your Brawliseum. They all have a different kind of card-based inventory management storage system. DD, retrieve hat from Brawliseum. You're the only member of this band of thugs who is civilized enough to keep more than one backup hat, as well as an extensive array of finely tailored suits. The Brawliseum seemed like the best storage option for your exceptional wardrobe. If there's any better sort of compartment to keep your wardrobe in, you'd love to hear of it. Oh, I don't know, maybe the battle drobe? There's a shitload of guns and cards in there too. You put on a backup hat. DD, withdraw licorice fish from backup hat. Whew, your Swedish fish are there. This is why it's a good idea to always store your candy in your backup hat rather than your usual one. Other members of your gang have learned this the hard way, and they're finally starting to catch on. Ooh, Diamonds Droog is a little bit of a trendsetter. Suddenly, you get cold clocked in the face from the future. You'd know the knuckles belonging to that sucker punch anywhere. He gets future punched. Whop! And then he starts swinging a pool stick around. The future. Trace always knows where you've been. The spineless rat likes to follow your past trail around and mess with you. Okay. Everyone, shit is about to get really, really, really confusing. Trace is a character who can see people's past trails. So he is in the future, and we can tell this partially because the blood trail is still here, but Diamonds Droog... Sorry, that's not Diamonds Droog. Diamonds Droog is not here because his past trail is here. Oh, and it also just says the future. That's a nice little thing up in the top left corner. Nice of them to include that. Fucking what's his name? This little small guy. Clubs Deuce. Alright, anyways, back to Diamonds Droog in the present. Trouble is, whenever he does, he lets you know exactly where he's going to be in the future. This time, you'll be ready for him. You radio Deuce for backup. Give him a time and a place and exactly what path through the mansion to take. DD. Resume pursuit of wounded felt member. You don't know if the wounded guy went up the stairs or came down, or who wounded him and when. Might have even been you, for all you know. DD. Follow trail of blood up the stairs. Can't overthink this time stuff. You go with your gut and head upstairs. CD. Follow Diamond's Droog's instructions. Oh, number 2 is tied up with a rubber guy. Stretch Armstrong doll. After giving a quick 10-4 over the radio, you take another look at your prisoner. He lucked out. Looks like round 2 of your brutal interrogation will have to wait. You couldn't find any rope, so you tied him up with a Stretch Armstrong doll, which you happen to have lying around. You don't remember how you got it. It looks sort of dumb, but it'll have to do. Just locked those in the battledrobe. Time to hit the road. You beat your hostage into the back of your battledrobe with a bull penis cane. Wait, this is a bull penis cane? You flip the fuck out over the fact that this is apparently a bull penis cane. Where did he get that? Bull penis cane. Meanwhile, running roughly parallel with present events, Itchy and Dai are playing... Is this blackjack? No, this isn't blackjack. This is Texas Hold'em. And it looks like Dai's gonna win. Oh. The cards are changing. Itchy always cheats, but he's always cheated for the last time. You're gonna jump to a timeline where he's dead. So here we are explaining Dai's powers, where he can jump around timeline based on who is or is not dead. So he jumps to a timeline where Itchy's dead. Looks like he got what he deserved, but as usual, you find yourself in a bit of a predicament. Spade Slick, make friends with Dai. You introduce your cast iron horse hitcher to your new friend. Whap! Dai scrambles for a pin he's been saving for a special occasion. Shoom! How many times does he have to tell you? He made this town. So, Dai tries to jump to a universe where Spade Slick is dead, and there is no felt, there is no mansion, and this is very important. As we see in the background, there's this green moon and this pink moon. That's all I'll say about that. Hearts Boxcars, stop being Spade Slick. You stop not being Hearts Boxcars. You have made your way to the Felt's secret vault. It's bigger than you were expecting. You doubt you will be able to rely on your usual safe-cracking method, which is prying it from the wall with your bare hands. You'll have to think of something else. Hearts Boxcars, do a silly dance. This is just absolutely the most ridiculous thing you could possibly choose to do right now. I mean, come on. Why don't you take a closer look at that safe? Seriously, stop that. Hearts Boxcars, pry the wall from the safe. That notion is even more ridiculous than the last one. Wait, who are you kidding? No, it isn't. Looks like the combination to the safe is entered via the hands of the clock. And you somehow doubt spinning the hands around manually is going to cut it. Knowing these guys, you've got to alter the flow of time itself to make it work. Which, of course, is bullshit. You think you'll just blow it up instead. Time to get Deuce on the radio. Hearts Boxcar. Deploy Punchbox. You deploy the Wrath Tub. Oh no. Hearts Boxcar. Look at all these battle axes he's got. Hearts Boxcars. Retrieve 2 of the hearts from backup hat. You retrieve your pair of wax lips. If anyone tried to steal your wax lips, you would eat their eyeballs and deliver an angry lecture into their empty sockets. Hearts Boxcars. Peruse Red Cheeks magazine. Just glancing at it gives you palpitations. Literature for avid cardio aficionados such as yourself. Those burgeoning red humps, that mischievous little tail, the snug, welcoming cleft. The saucy imagery is hard to beat. Harder than what you beat inside your chest harder than what you beat inside your chest now. Your heart is what you're beating. You beat it to Red Cheeks magazine pretty regularly, you'd say. God damn it. He is Hearts boxcars. Hearts loves hearts. They're just the hearts, though. Don't worry, it's not about butts. Hearts boxcars. Call clubs on nearest card. You radio Deuce on the 10-4 card. Oh, that's funny. Let him know that you need a powder monkey on the double. You hear ticking, and it's not coming from the big vault clock above. You hope it's not what you think it is. Oh no. Oh God. It's Biscuits. His oven timer is ticking. This is no good. Ugh. There he is. This idiot thinks his special oven transports him into the future by the amount he sets on the timer. Well, he's sort of right, but in reality, all that's happening is he's hiding in there until the timer's up, and then he pops out. You guess he's relatively harmless if he's alone. You can take him. What you really have to worry about is if he teams up with... Oh no, that ringing. That god-awful ringing. You can hear it. So, number 13, his power is that he can jump into an oven that moves forward at the same rate of time that time passes. So get ready. Eggs. Son of a fuck. You might as well just grab one of your axes and kill yourself now. So here's eggs with his clock timer, and now there's 3 more different versions of eggs that'll appear, one of which is carrying biscuits. Eggs and Biscuits, I guess, is their name. So they have some time shenanigans that they're doing to duplicate themselves. Club's Deuce. Follow path. In the future, you've already followed the path through the mansion that Droog told you to. Trace followed Droog's past trail even further back, but found a much fresher trail crossing his path. Looks like this little guy's talking on the radio. Says something about how he'll be right there once he gives Droogs a hand. Trace decides he'll trace this guy for a while and see what he's up to. And then mess with him, of course. Okay. So, Club's Deuce is following Diamond's order, and Hart is calling Clubs to blow up the vault. And so Clubs is like, okay, yeah, I'll be right there once I'm done dealing with Trace, which is what Diamond's asked me to do. In the present, you talk on the radio. Say something about how you'll be right there once you give Droog a hand. We already saw this from Hart's perspective. DD, take a good look around the new room that you're in. Here we are with Diamond. Looks like the trail of blood ends here. Or originates. Whatever. Something went down here in the past. Or is about to go down in the future? You know what? Never mind. 21 out of 1,000 clocks destroyed, apparently. Hang on. There's a tooth on the floor. You know that tooth. You felt its bite before. Finn was here. And judging by the forensics of the scene, the angle it hit the floor, and the direction of the blood splatters and how dry the blood is, you think you know exactly what he's about to pull. Or more specifically, what he's about to already have pulled. Love that tense and... Finn always knows where you're going. He's followed your future trail here. He likes to mess with you from the past. Trouble is, he tips you off to where he's been. This time you're ready. Wait for it. Wait. So, this is wild. The guy with the red trail sees where people are going to be. No. He sees where people have been. So he's in the future looking back at the present. This guy is in the past looking forward to the future, which arguably is a much more helpful power because you know where people are going to be. But from your perspective in the present, if he knows where people are going to be, that means you know where he has already been. Now, Whap! So Diamond smacks Finn in the past. And then, so that's the thing, I guess, apparently. Predestined bullet holes are convenient. Gives you something to aim for. So, through the time power trail, he shoots in the present to shoot this guy, and he ends up getting hit in the past. 7 out of 21 clocks redestroyed. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you've ever seen Tenant, but in that the bullet hole is already there, and so then they end up catching the bullet as it travels backward through time. It's a little bit like that, like where he got here and he was like, oh, there's already been bullet holes here. And the bullet holes are bullet holes that I'm going to create right now because my bullets passed through somebody else's time travel and traveled backwards into the past, so they landed in the past, even though I shot them in the present. It's crazy. I love it. Oh, and also he has a gun, which was a cane, but now it's a gun. And so then in the past, this dude gets shot a shit ton, walks down the stairs, creates this blood trail. SS, rematerialize. That doesn't make any sense. He never went anywhere. Because Die went to the timeline where Spade Slake was dead, but Spade Slake didn't go anywhere. Die realizes that there is a cost to settling the score with you in this way. The cost is having to live in a desert amidst the ruin of a dead civilization for the rest of his life. He thinks that's stupid, so he pulls your pin. Spade Slick, help the green man live up to his name. And he kills Die. Slashes his throat. Alright, so Spade Slick doesn't know that Finn is dead yet, even though Diamonds has technically killed him. Or, I guess he's not dead. He got shot a bunch and then walked away. But Die is dead. So Spade Slick will take the voodoo doll. You grab his voodoo doll and stick his pin in there for good measure. Might as well keep track of everyone you've offed this way, too. Not that you intend to abuse its power to settle your score. What's the point if you're not going to get your hands dirty? Still, it might come in handy down the road. Lord English is supposedly indestructible. He's rumored to be killable only through a number of glitches and exploits in spacetime. The doll may ultimately help you work the system if it comes to that. Spade Slick. Clocks. Destroy them. 29 out of 1,000 clocks destroyed. 5 out of 15 green torsos dead. Diamonds. Follow blood trail downstairs and finish him off. Problem with that is he'll just see your future trail following him. That'll be nothing but a loud invitation for him to mess with you some more. Besides, better to leave him alive. You think you know where he'll lead you to. Just got to be a little more subtle about tracing his blood trail. Keep your future trail out of his line of sight. Spades, return to being Hearts boxcars. Excuse me. Okay. Spade Slick cannot return to being Hearts boxcars because obviously Diamond's Droog is too busy being Club's Deuce. So now we're back to Club's Deuce. Ooh, and here's number 3. Walking along the blood trail that Finn created. In the present. You just watched Trace throw a punch into thin air for some reason. That guy's awfully silly. Okay, so this is where we saw Trace punch Diamonds, and then Diamonds was like, hey, can you get Clubs? And so now here's Clubs trying to blow him up. You just watch, then he sulks off somewhere. You don't realize that he's following Droog's past trail through the mansion until he gets to the point where it intersects with your trail, at which point he'll start following you. But we all realized it, because it's obvious and couldn't possibly be more clear. I mean, he just knows. Like, it. What more negging? More negging from the author. They are just being rude. CD. Implement nefarious scheme. You follow Droog's simple instructions. So simple, even a forgetful nincompoop like you can remember. There's a blood trail on the floor that goes in a different direction than Trace went. You decide to follow it, because that sounds like a really good idea to you. If there was something you were supposed to do after helping out Droog, you'll be damned if you remember what it was. So Clubs was supposed to go help Hearts, but he forgot because he's forgetful. Uh, so he's just gonna help out Diamond instead. Trace catches up to where you were, but you're gone already. All he sees is the long, gross, rubbery arms of your past trail stretching through the room. He finds his comrade tied up with the stretchy rubber arms of a small man. But there's nothing gross or unpalatable about that in the least. Doze unslows himself and begins mumbling something feverishly about his hat. Uh-oh. Boom! So in the future, Clubs set a trap for Trace and Doze. 7 out of 15 green torsos dead. 107 out of 1,000 clocks destroyed. But that doesn't happen until Finn's future. In the present, Doze is just waiting there. Finn makes his way through the mansion to get some help. He wonders where this little guy is going. Deuce's future trail is headed in the same direction he's headed by sheer coincidence. Except for it's not by sheer coincidence because Deuce is following this dude's trail of blood, which he left in the past, and so is there when Clubs gets there. Finn decides to follow him for a bit, keep an eye on him. For as long as Deuce's path matches his, that is. There's pretty much no chance he's headed to the same place, though. That would be statistically improbable, except for he's following the trail that you're leaving him. He's got no idea what these other goons are up to here. Funny, their future trails end here. He's not going to stick around long enough to find out why. He's a bit too woozy from the blood loss to sort out this mess anyway. CD, follow the red blood road. It's uncanny. This little guy is matching Finn's route every step of the way. He must know something. Finn decides he's got to take him out. But he can't get a clear shot. Too dizzy with all that C4 under Deuce's hat. Firing would be a bad idea. My God, he's thought of everything. Clearly dealing with a criminal mastermind here. You stop to admire this gorgeous clock. It is so pretty. Too bad it's not ticking like so many of the clocks in this place. Not that you can blame them. There are so many clocks in this mansion, it would obviously be impractical to make sure they all work properly. Oh look, a trail of blood. You think you'll start following it. He just deadass forgets what he's doing. Waste exactly 4 hours on this tomfoolery. Hearts boxcars. You hate time travel, you hate time travel, you hate time travel, you hate time travel, you hate time travel. Yeah, me too, Hearts boxcars. This is getting really confusing. But I love it. Alright. Above, a spectator has appeared at the strike of 4 and has been giggling at your foolishness for a number of minutes. Clover would have been tickled to help you open this vault, at the cost of answering a few of his clever time riddles, needless to say. If only you'd thought to seek his help first, rather than charging like the silly brute you are into this deadly trap of stable and not so stable time loops. Mostly unstable, really. These guys are way too dumb to maintain even elementary looping stability for more than a couple of iterations. If you weren't so preoccupied, Clover could tell you that you could use Crowbar's help to pry anything out of a time loop, stable or otherwise. If you weren't so preoccupied, and if he weren't so dead. Hee hee hee. Crowbar is dead. Stitch mutters to himself in his shop. He guesses eggs and biscuits are roughhousing again, because the fabric of space-time is tearing something fierce on Lord English's Cairo overcoat. This sort of thing is exactly why he keeps a backup coat, and he always leaves Stitch with one of them. Any gang does well to have an in-house doctor on hand, but if you deal in time travel, you better have a damn good tailor, too. So Stitch repairs paradoxical tears in space-time, which is the coat for Lord English. Hearts boxcars. Call spades for backup. And also we can see that Lord English is a pretty big dude. Hearts boxcars. Call spades for backup. You tell Slick to get his scrawny ass to the vault. It's goddamn bedlam down here. You tell him you asked Deuce for backup, but surprise, surprise, he's nowhere to be found. Big surprise, you tell him. You tell him that with sarcasm. He says he knows. Slick says he'll be right here. Right there. He'll see if he can round up Droog for support. Droog says Deuce is tailing Finn, while he is tailing Deuce. He'll be there to help out boxcars as soon as he and Deuce could take care of business with Stitch. Couldn't be simpler. Oh yeah, he also mentions he pumped Finn full of lead, so you can cross him off the list. You roger that. Okay. You know what? Just give up. Just give up on understanding this. Just enjoy the ride. Really, Spades is just getting... Spades is talking to Diamonds. Diamonds is tailing Finn. No. I'm giving up, actually. Finn bursts into Stitch's workshop, blabbering... This is in the past. Finn busts into Stitch's workshop, blubbering something about watching out for the little guy who's about to come in here. He says to watch out because he's got a bomb on his head, which is undoubtedly quite volatile, and even the slightest spark would surely set it off. Stitch sees Finn's obviously in pretty bad shape, and checks his effigy. Sure enough, the thing is in tatters, but he should be just fine if it can be patched up before he bleeds to... And it turns to toast, his effigy. So they all got little dolls that he can try to patch up to heal people as a tailor. It's kind of interesting that they're all on nooses. So anyways, Finn fucking dies of blood loss, and Spade Slick kind of causes that to happen, or at least ushers it along a little bit forward by sticking the pin into Finn's place. Because Spade Slick put the pin in because Diamonds was like, oh, I already shot him full of lead, so you can cross him off the list. So he did. But that actually just ensured that he dies right here. But maybe he was always going to die right here. Who knows? Death. 8 out of 15 green torsos dead. We're already pretty far along. CD. Burst in thrusting bull penis cane. Everybody out of the goddamn way. You got a hat full of bomb, a fist full of penis, and a head full of empty. This is a classic line. Stitch says drop the livestock knob and settle the hell down. He says you do realize C4 is a stable explosive and won't detonate with gunfire, right? You say, oh. Stitch is the only one with the brain. DD, sneak into Stitch's boutique. Drop it and get in. Don't bleed on the suits. Stitch says, huh? Whap! You admit the thought of carrying an imprisoned tailor wherever you go is gratifying for personal reasons. But in this case, keeping him alive should be useful in dealing with English later. HB, prod idiots with red cheeks. Bzz. This predictably accomplishes nothing. Taking your smut out of hiding turned out to be a very bad idea. Now copies from the future are appearing left and right with these clowns all have their paws all over it. Slick, where the hell are you? SS, remove Crowbar's pin. So now Spade Slick is timeline jumping. He is going to a timeline where Crowbar wasn't dead. Crowbar's alive again, and a whole bunch of other stuff is different. You forgot this gang almost seems halfway competent when he's running the show. The good news is you get to kill him again. Spade Slick, insert and quickly remove Snowman's pin. You have no idea how much you'd like to, but even you're not that crazy. Still, kinda tempting. Something about if Snowman dies would be extremely drastic of a result, even more so than if Spade Slick is dead. Ooh, intermission. I mean, a flash. The gang is fighting. Ooh. Who's this dame? Hold still, Slick. Something in your eye. Stab! And she walks away. No, everybody stops fighting just to watch it happen. Oh, and the back button is a spade. That was a nice little song. Everyone always ceases gunplay when Snowman's around. If you kill her, you destroy the universe. Oh shit. SS. Remove knife from eye. It's not a knife. It's Snowman's cigarette holder. All you know is she's gonna have a hell of a time getting it back. SS. Give it to Sawbuck. You chuck the lance, which was the cigarette holder, at Sawbuck. But of course, it's only a flesh wound. Seems like that's the only sort of wound you can ever inflict on the corpulent lummox. Consequently, you and he both jump to a random point in the timeline. This looks to be in the recent past, when Stitch and Crowbar were setting up the crates for the imminent gunfight, which was very thoughtful of them. Your goons should be showing up any minute with the heavy firepower. For now, you've got the drop on everybody. SS. Spade Slick, kill something out of rage and frustration. Stitch gets the business end of your saber rattle. He's dead, in this timeline at least. Spade Slick, bring knives to the gunfight. Where do you think you're going, fatty? You'll deal with him in a minute. You whip out your double-edged sword and Occam's razor. Spade Slick, Occam's razor, Crowbar's head. Make it happen. Happen with a H-A-P-E-N because, of course, it's a reference to Sweet Bro and Helijeff, courtesy of Dave. Crowbar deflects the King of Spades into Sawbuck's unmissable carriage. You jump far into the past. Okay. Far into the past. Look here in the background. You see that little person who has a wrap that looks eerily similar to the wrap of Wayward Vagabond in this very apocalyptic looking desert? This is relevant. Years in the past. Which is to say, the present for the time being. A scurrilous straggler. Spade Slick, SS. And he's got the spade also on his little wrap here. A scurrilous straggler eyes impromptu desert skirmish. He dismisses them as a bunch of ill-mannered rogues, warranting no further investigation, although he gives a small nod of approval to the plain and serviceable hat worn by one of the combatants, which strikes him as an absolutely smashing display of good fashion sense. Spade Slick hit Crowbar in the head. You can't kill him yet. You need him alive to return to the original timeline. You will be taking that crowbar, though. Spade Slick, stuff him in your deck of cards. You cram him into the war chest. Sawbuck, you need to keep alive too, for the moment. Not to return to the right timeline, but the right time. Speaking of which, where's Tubby think he's waddling off to? Just go stab Sawbuck until the time shenanigans stop. You treat him to a bit of the old bait and switchblade. You appear in the future. You guess this is after the gunfight is over. The gunfight that never took place since you killed/kidnapped everyone who was supposed to be involved. Looks like only Boxcars is here. It's completely unable to you can't follow it at this point. He's in an alternate timeline that he stopped from ever happening because of time shenanigans. You appear in the future. You guess this is after the gunfight. Yeah. Carry Sawbuck like Titan Atlas would carry the world. Oh, nice. You order Hearts to drop his tub on the double before this fat lard puts you in a wheelchair. Why you gotta be fat shaming like that, man? If you take Sawbuck back to your own time and kill him there, that should save you the trouble of hunting him down. Might as well take Stitch, too. Maybe you're not really sure. Maybe. You're not really sure if that's how it works. You don't really care, though. That's possible, because in this timeline, Stitch, has just been stabbed in the heart and I think is dead. But in the other timeline, Stitch is stuffed into Diamond's, Brawliseum. Anyways, they're putting Sawbuck. They're going to try to take him back to the timeline with you. You dump them in the Wrath Tub. Then stick the tub in your own deck of cards. So now he's got Hearts' Wrath Tub. But you give Boxcars back his sordid literature, which he'd carelessly left in plain sight. No one will ever catch you leaving your smut around. And even if you did, that copy of Terry or Fancy magazine could belong to anybody. No one could prove nothing. Spade Slick, stick Crowbar's pin back in again. You go back to your original timeline. So here's what happened. There's the timeline where Crowbar died. Spade Slick wanted Crowbar back. So he jumped to a timeline where Crowbar was never dead, stole and kidnapped that Crowbar, grabbed and killed Sawbuck. Sorry, yeah, he killed Stitch. He grabbed Sawbuck and then brought both Sawbuck and Crowbar back into the timeline where Crowbar's already dead. But now, stuffed in your chest, you've got a live Crowbar from another timeline, brought to the timeline where he's supposed to be dead. So you guess now he's alive in this timeline, which is in part defined by his death? Okay, whatever. You should probably just kill him again anyway. Also, Sawbuck from another timeline is in here too. So you guess now that there's two Sawbucks? This is getting kind of dumb. They just explained it again to us. You open the chest and release them both. Crowbar doesn't look too pleased. He has a gun. You deflect his gunfire into the awesome gravitational pull of Sawbuck's astonishing girth. Everybody into the past! You dodge his next round, too. It seems Sawbuck's from this timeline, i.e. the real Sawbuck, was in this room at this point in time. He and Crowbar exchange bullets. Off they go. Because they were both trying to shoot at Spade Slick, and instead they just shoot each other. They no doubt go on to spend the rest of their ammunition peppering each other throughout the timeline, destroying all these clocks in the process between now and the present. You guess that explains the mess when you got here. Thank God you figured that out. You surely would have lost sleep over it. Because these are the clocks that were destroyed from before he even showed up. 20 out of 107 clocks redestroyed for the first time, eventually. You know what? Never mind. Spade Slick, take a moment to think up some time-based one-liners. Okay, you think you got one. Time travel sure can be a double-edged sword. Dave Strider emoji? Wait, that was awful. Really, really bad. You're sure you can do better than that. And he jumps into a timeline where Spade Slick is in the future using Dai's tool. Let's see. No. Time's running. No. Wait, fuck. You ask yourself from the past for a little help. Something about time. Time being up? No, wait. How about some kind of clock pun? No, damn it. Will you just listen? You're almost on to something. Time is... Screw this. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Oh, and just what does this quivering mound of blubber think he's up to? Spade Slick. Stab first, utter puns later. So this Spade Slick stabs Sawbuck, just as you hear your past self asking what happened to your eye. Oh, shit. You jab Sawbuck with your butterfly effect knife. You remember a little while ago asking yourself about your eye and not giving yourself an answer before just disappearing. Maybe if you stopped and thought about it for a second, you could have warned yourself and avoided the whole mess, albeit in the process of creating a paradox. But your strict policy of stabbing first and answering questions later prevented it. You're sure your past self understands/understood. You are sure of this because you are very clearly remember understanding/understooding. The writing of it. It's just ridiculous. You are now past Spade Slick again. You were just about to pull Crowbar's pin. You guess all of that stuff with your future self and Sawbuck originally happened in this room while we were all off watching something else, like Diamond's Droog or something. That makes sense. Past Spade Slick. Remove Crowbar's pin. So he jumps into the past, repeats literally everything that we just saw. A whole bunch of shit happens that we already saw. And then they give us a link to repeat all of this. They just literally just have us go back into the past. That's so fucking funny. Okay. Past Spade Slick. B. Future Spade Slick. The Spade Slick who just stabbed Sawbuck. Oh my god, the blood and gore is everywhere. Being your future self is a lot more constructive because you get to do stuff you haven't already done. Looks like you're in the future. It's a bloody mess in here. The clocks are more bullet-riddled than ever, and it seems Crowbar and both Sawbucks have been decapitated. You're almost certain this is something you will be or were already responsible for, which of course means more time traveling. Looks like the tub and chest are gone, which means future you must have packed up and left already. Got to take note of these sorts of things so you know where you are in the timeline. You notice something on the wall over there. One of the clocks that wasn't destroyed before is now bloodied and full of holes. Not especially noteworthy, but you just have a feeling you should register this fact. 108 out of 1,000 clocks destroyed. Spade Slick. Quickly remove Lance from Sawbuck. You pry the cigarette holder from his torso. Whoops, another time jump. This tub of goo keeps going for his gun. Widebody's gotta settle his big ass down. He really should incapacitate him without inflicting another wound. Spade Slick. Knock Sawbuck unconscious. Count some sheep, bitch. Wait. The clock on the wall. It hasn't been destroyed yet, but it's about to be. It's ticking down to the time it's stuck on in the future. Maybe if you time it just right, you can end this whole mess in one fell slice. You've got an ice-cold one-liner to dish out when the time comes. You've been working pretty hard on it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hate to cut and... Wait, no, not yet. Wait for it. Hate to... No. Wait. Hate to cut and... Damn it! Not yet. Hate to cut and run... Shit. Hate to chop all of your heads off with a sword. Real sorry about that. My bad. You slay them all with your rapier wit. Because... This is when Sawbuck and Crowbar shoot each other, jumping into the future, because every time Sawbuck gets hurt, they jump timelines, and now Spade Slick is here waiting for them and cuts them both in half, including the Sawbuck who is in the tub. He just kills them all in one fell swoop with his rapier wit. Still waiting to explode, I think, but yeah, dead for these two. Deader, because he was already dead, but he killed him again. 9 is sort of dead because they killed him in one timeline, but he's still alive in this timeline. And there's Snowball, huge bitch. Sawbuck, they killed him in 2 different iterations, and he's using different markers, as you can see, to track how they killed them in which timeline. 9 out of 15 green torsos dead. 2 out of 9 green torsos deadened twice. 1 out of 15 green torsos dead for the first time, but it's an alternate universe torso, so you guess maybe it doesn't count. 7 out of 108 Glocks gratuitously redestroyed. Oh my god. Alright, we've been at this for a whole hour. You grab the tub and chest and move on. That is altogether enough of this nonsense. Diamond Droog, call spades. Okay, I feel like this might have to be our stopping point, because that was an absolutely brutal slog with Sawbuck. But they only have 6 more folks to kill. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of. And then Snowman, but they're never gonna kill Snowman because that would destroy the universe. So that's where we'll leave off, and we're gonna pick back up with Diamond's Droog, who was supposed to be going and helping Heart's boxcars, who is dealing with eggs and biscuits. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about this one, right? Like it has nothing to do with any of the characters that we know and love, and yet I can't say that it's not important. And you might be wondering, how the hell is this important? And I can't tell you that because it would be spoilers. But unfortunately, aspects of this are important. You don't really have to know any of the minutia. The main things that you should probably remember are that the crowbar is important. And Snowball, if you kill her, Snowman, not Snowball, Snowman, if you kill her, it destroys the universe. And Lord English is bad. He's supposedly indestructible except for glitches and exploits in space time. And that's about it. So I don't remember how long the intermission is, but I feel like we're about halfway through it, hopefully. So maybe next episode we'll wrap this one up. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope next episode we get to see some of the other characters a little bit more, because I know that they're, in a way, kind of the best part. I like these characters a lot. Like, for some reason, I can't help but like Spade Slick. He's just such an asshole. Like, he's just murder first, but he's all business, and I like that trope. Everyone else is pretty much an idiot and is stupid, but I do feel like this is kind of excuse me. It's not peak Homestuck. It just is a perfect example of the level with which they're playing with time travel. Like they're really, really, really leaning into it and really fleshing out like all the different time powers, and like I feel like it's obviously extremely confusing, but it just like it is consistent, and if you actually follow through it, like it does make sense. And that level of commitment to time travel makes Homestuck and its commitment to like actually exploring how time travel would work like one of my favorite things, and honestly one of my favorite portrayals of time travel in any media, because it fully goes into it and does not care about how confusing it is, because it's just like, we're doing this, and like you're gonna try to keep up, and you won't be able to, because it doesn't really matter. But don't worry, because we've already figured it all out. And so if you read it and reread it, then like you're like kind of following these details. I'm sure that there are some plot holes somewhere, but they honestly cover so many of the gaps, and like track which things are paradoxes, and then they like start differentiating between stable and unstable paradoxes and all this stuff, which I just really appreciate. So anyways, this one was probably a little rough to listen to, but at the end of the day, anything that you don't understand, I'll just re-explain down the line, so it'll probably be fine. But I hope you got to at least enjoy some of it, and I'll see you next time.